Welcome back, everybody. Again, my name is Christine Mills. I'm going to do another cooking demonstration for you today. Today I'm going to do a type of cookie. It's a real blustery, snowy day here in December in West Virginia, and I just thought what better cookie to make than snowball cookies. It's that time of year and everybody loves them. I'm going to do a small batch style for you. I love to put out a large platter of cookies at the holidays. Have a great variety for everybody. The problem is that you have to make so many cookies to get that great variety. I'm going to show you how to make a small batch of the snowball. This way, you're going to have a little bit of your favorite. You could maybe make another batch of sugar cookies, maybe chocolate chip, and put them all together and have a great platter. These are almond snowball cookies. The ingredients are 4 tablespoons of softened, unsalted butter, 2 tablespoons of powdered, sometimes called confectioner sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of good almond extract, an 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and then also the main ingredient that gives it its flavor, the nice chopped almonds. There are 2 tablespoons in here. I just want to show you the particular cut that I've put on them. They're not too fine a cut, but they're not too coarse either. They're somewhere just right. You don't want to have your almonds cut too fine, because if you do, it becomes almost an almond flour, and then your dough is going to become much drier because it almost adds to the flour aspect of it. This way, we really just want to have the taste, and we want to have that coarse texture when we bite into the cookie. Also, I have put aside a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar for dusting the snowballs after they come out of the oven. So I'm going to mix for you. You don't need any specialty equipment for this, which is what really makes it great, and it's very easy for young children to do as well. I'm going to start by putting my 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter in my bowl with my 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. I'm going to be sure to get everything out of the container, because we're not talking about large amounts here, so even a little tiny bit makes a difference. And just bring this together. Now, typically when we make cookies, we always say to cream together the solid fat and the sugar or sugars, but in this case, it's more of a shortbread style cookie, and you don't really want to cream it together. You simply want to bring it together. It's just going to take a moment. Now, when you go to use your powdered sugar, it's a little lumpy, I would recommend sifting that. This particular bag was fresh. It didn't have any coarse crumbles to it, so I wasn't too concerned about any pieces of it. Okay, I've brought that together. Now I'm going to add my 1/8 of a teaspoon of iodized salt. That's regular table grind salt. Mix that in. Now my 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Again, a little bit in the dish there. I want to be sure to get it all out. And this is going to be on the drier side. You'll notice there's no egg in this recipe, which is unusual for cookies. Most cookie recipes will have egg in them. This is great, particularly if you have someone who is allergic to eggs. That's more of that shortbread feeling that you have when you don't add eggs to it. There's also no chemical leavening agent in here. Most cookies will have either baking powder or baking soda to cause them to rise. In this case, we want these little nut balls to stay together and be round like the snowballs that we love. All right, now I'm going to add my almonds, and I'm going to bring it together with my, oops, I almost forgot the important ingredient there, my 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. And in go my nuts. Now, if you don't like almonds, if you prefer pecans or walnuts or hazelnuts, you can switch them out. The only nut I wouldn't recommend would be peanuts, and I think that's just because it should be more of a tree nut flavor. If you like peanut butter cookies, you can always add some peanut butter cookies to your platter. All right, I'm going to move to using my hands. Hands, one of the greatest tools we have. And you're really going to need to do this to bring this dough together because it is dry. You can see as I'm working it together, it is beginning to pull up away from the sides and come into like a ball. I'm getting that cookie dough feel. Some hopping out of the bowl on me. Oh, it smells so almondy, so wonderful. All right, now I'm going to move to putting the dough out onto the countertop because I'm going to roll it into a log so I can cut my portions. And it's a little bit on the dry side. Don't be alarmed. That's perfectly normal. That's exactly what you're hoping for. It's like a shortbread cookie. And it will be a little bit harder to roll into a log. You just want to take care. Okay. And I'm going to get 12 cookies out of this. So I'm going to cut down the center and then into fourths. And then I'm going to cut each of my fourths into a third. So this is going to make just 1 dozen of cookies. Now I have my pieces and I'm going to roll them and put them onto my baking sheet. You can see that I'm using parchment paper. You do not have to use parchment paper. I just happen to like that. I feel like it helps the cookies get more evenly brown on the bottom and also keeps them from sticking. Okay, so I have my 12 cookies rolled out. You can see they're nice and round, about 1-inch size balls. You could make them a little bit bigger if you say, well, I like them a little bigger. You could do 8 or 10 cookies instead, but I like a nice even dozen. Now these are gonna go into the oven at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. They're gonna take about 12 minutes to bake. You shouldn't expect them to get too brown on the tops. We're gonna look for that brown color on the bottom. So it's been 12 minutes and my cookies are golden brown and ready to come out of the oven. You'll notice that they're not very brown on the tops of the cookies. However, if we pull them back, you can see that it's golden brown on the bottom of the cookies. That's what we're looking for right there. Okay. Now here's the tricky part. We need to roll these cookies into the powdered sugar while they're still warm, but we don't want to do them when they're searing hot and fresh out of the oven. So we're going to let them sit for about 3 minutes and then we're going to roll them in the powdered sugar. All right, so I let the cookies cool just a little bit. They're still going to be hot to the touch, so be mindful of that. I like to use a spoon to pick them up and then put them and roll them into the powdered sugar. And you're going to want to roll them twice. It's okay to go right back on the hot tray if you like. You can simply use that one. And I'm going to get all the way through my first roll, and then I'm going to start back over at the first one again and roll them all back through. All right, so I'm on my very last one, and I've gone through twice. I started over here and went through all of them through the powdered sugar once, and then started back over again. And because you know, I always say, don't be stingy whenever I'm doing any cooking or baking. I'm not going to waste that, so I'm just going to go back over the top of these Snowball cookies with the remaining powdered sugar, and it's just going to give them this wonderful, just snowed on look, and I just love that for the holidays. Also, waste not, want not. All right, I'm going to let them cool completely, and then I'm going to be back to show you how to plate them up. All right, so the cookies have cooled completely to room temperature, and if you don't do that, it will be a little bit sticky, and it will anyway. But I'm just going to put them on this little footed platter that I have because I don't have any other cookies baked for the holidays just yet. Just yet. There's going to be more to come. But I want to go ahead and set these up, and I just love their shape. I love to do a little pyramid shape with these guys. So here's just a little way you could do, and if you just do these and you're just having a friend over, you're just gonna have a friend over, and you just wanna put something out quick to have with tea, this is just ideal right here. And I was so sorry that I didn't have a little sprig of holly to put next to it to make it more festive. But how wonderful is that? It's just a small batch of almond snowball cookies. You can put them out, you can put on a pot of tea, pot of coffee, and they'll be gone before you know it, and then you'll be on to making your second batch. Thank you for joining me today. Happy holidays.